Hello everybody, my name is Christian Pokemon Champion and I'm here with a challenge, the using only Kricketot in Pokemon Pearl challenge. Now the rules are, I can only use Kricketot in battle. I do count ties as a win. I cannot use any healing items while battling. This will include status healers, potions, and berries. I can, however, use revives, max revives, and X items like X attack and the like. This will be further explained when I talk about Kricketot's move pool. Finally, I am allowed to use held items, so I can use citrus berries to Kricketot as long as it is just a held item. Kricketot's base stat is 194. This makes him the third official weakest Pokemon behind the infamous Sunkern and Wishiwashi. It would appear that his defenses are his best stats. Unfortunately, his attack and speed stats are even lower, so attacking my opponent will be a drag. Kricketot's ability, Shed Skin, was very useful throughout the run. Its ability is to cure any status condition within a third chance. Kricketot only learns 3 moves via leveling up in Generation 4, Growl, Bide, and Bug Attack. He is also unable to learn any moves via breeding or TMHMs. So Kricketot can't learn moves through breeding, TMHMs, or even tutoring. So I'm stuck with just Growl, Bide, and Bug Bite. This is gonna suck. Bide is an attack used whenever an opponent attacks me. For 2 turns, I accumulate all that damage and then I spew it back to my opponent, double whatever the damage was. It has a priority speed +1, which means it's more likely to outspeed my opponent. However, if they use a Mach Punch, I am more likely to be outsped by my opponent. And it can never miss. Super useful for this challenge. Or I can use Struggle, which is a 50 base power attack. Whenever I use it, I lose a fourth of my HP, and it can never miss, which is again super useful for this challenge. Due to Struggle taking away a fourth of my health every time I use it, and due to Bide taking away health whenever I use that as well, inevitably whenever I fight against any team with 4 or more Pokemon, I will eventually faint, even if I'm over double their level. This is why we allow revives for this particular run. It started just like any other Pokemon game. I talked to the professor and told him my name. Back in my room, I brought my rival to get our starters. I chose Chimchar, named him Not Tot. I chose Chimchar because I didn't want to battle a fire Pokemon early on in the game. I then went to Route 202. This is where the first Kricketot can be captured. I looked around and I couldn't find one. I decided to find out whether there was condition in catching a Kricketot. Apparently, you can only catch them between 8 p.m. and 9:59 a.m. When I was recording this footage, it was not between these times, so I decided to wait until the next morning. The next morning, I immediately found the chosen one. We said bye Felicia to Not Tot, and we now can start the journey. By the way, I chose not to make Kricketot my starter because I wanted anybody with the necessary amount of perseverance and a DS to do this challenge. I didn't want having a randomizer to be a necessary component to completing this trial. At this point in the game, the only ways for Kricketot to defeat my opponents is to either use Bide or Struggle. I would use either depending on who I am fighting. If the opponent is strong, Bide would be my option. This is because Kricketot has decent enough HP to endure the attacks. Conversely, Struggle can be used to take down enemies that have weak Pokemon or have multiple Pokemon. Strangely enough, it was the weaker Pokemon that turned out to be my most difficult opponents. However, to have access to Struggle, I would have to drain all my PP. So I'd have to fish for Magikarp, which only has Splash, a 40 PP move. I spammed Growl until I was out, and then I would have to fish for another Magikarp to drain the remaining PP from Bide. I had to do it this way because once Magikarp lost his PP, he would use his own Struggle and damage me. And I didn't want to start a battle with an imperfect HP. Hating using either strategy, I decided to grind up Kricketot to level 16 where he learns Bug Bite. Where's Bug Bite? What? Yes, I found out that Kricketot only learns Bug Bite in Pokemon Platinum. But in Diamond and Pearl, he only knows Growl and Bide. This means that I have to beat the game with only 2 moves. What have I done? Devastated by the news, I made a decision to persevere. I went to my rival and pwned him. While I had more difficulty fighting the trainers in the route after my rival, I eventually defeated them as well. This is going to be a pattern with this game. There will be some trainers on routes where, even if my Kricketot was double their levels, I just can't defeat them without restarting over and over again. Now, the first gym of the game, just like many other generations, is a Rock-type gym. Bugs, like Kricketot, are weak to Rock-type moves. My first attempt at fighting this gym was at level 18 and breezed through the first 2 trainers before Roark. When I battled him, I defeated this Geodude, but the Onix quickly destroyed me, so I decided to begin my training. I utilized Route 203 for my early on training because the Geodudes on Route 207 though having higher levels would spam defense curl, and I ain't got time for that. Once I was strong enough to consistently defeat Roark's Geodude and Onix, I began using this battle for my training and allow myself to white out to keep their experience. I chose this grinding strategy because I saw another YouTuber who did this same strategy, only with the Elite Four, to level up their single Pokemon for their challenge. I thought it would be a viable way to reduce time devoted to grinding since Roark's Pokemon would give out more experience than wild Pokemon. After many rematches, I eventually defeated the first gym at level 29. After this battle, my mind went straight to despair. If the first gym is this difficult, how much more is the rest of the game? But I persevered. After beating the gym, I went north to catch a Machop so I can use Rock Smash. I named him Nappa. Other than a Team Galactic double battle, I went straight to Floaroma town, where our next difficult match would be found. East to Floaroma, I had to fight Commander Mars, who has a Zubat who would often confuse me, and Perugly, who has a Citrus Berry and who uses Fake Out, which takes a chunk of my HP and prevents me from attacking for a turn. Now it's a good time to explain what obstacles of the game were the most horrendous to endure. Double battles, Pokemon that don't want to hit me, and confusion. Firstly, with double battles, I'm forced to wait until my HM slave gets knocked out before Kricketot can start attacking, otherwise my other Pokemon would gain experience, which is not allowed. Secondly, some Pokemon just don't want to fight Kricketot. They would spam some status booster until my bite is done and then would attack me. Hit me! Hit me! I want you to do it. Lastly, confusion. Confusion was the worst. Because I only have Struggle and Bide, which both require the use of my HP to damage my opponent, I have a 50-50 chance of harming myself. And using Bide isn't even an option at times. With Bide, I have to wait for 2 turns before I can even unleash my Fury. However, each turn counts in that 50-50 chance of confusing myself. So I have to beat the odds and either snap out of confusion or not get confused 3 times in a row. The latter was the reason why this battle was difficult for me. Now on to Route 205. Immediately I run across another big obstacle. This particular trainer has 4 Pokemon, 2 Geodudes, a Machop, and a random Bidoof. Because of my nature of my only 2 attacks, I just couldn't defeat this guy, despite being more than double his levels. So I decided to run across him to continue through the route. After defeating some trainers, I went into the Aterna Forest. It is here where I made a big mistake. I got distracted and accidentally allowed my Kricketot to evolve after he leveled up. I had to go back to my last save point. This was just before I defeated Commander Mars. And I freaked out inside. Even though I didn't lose a lot of my journey, I barely defeated Commander Mars last time, but I chose not to give up once more. I'm such an idiot for doing this challenge. I defeated her once again at level 10, but with 10 health this time. I finally got through Aterna Forest to arrive in Aterna City. There I went to the second gym to see if I could defeat it. Prior to finding out that Kricketot didn't learn Bug Bite and Pearl, I thought this gym would have been a breeze due to it being a grass-type gym. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I defeated all the trainers here and went straight to Gardenia, and I found out that I couldn't even defeat her first Pokemon due to her Leech Seed. I leveled up and decided to give it a couple more tries and see if I can win. After a few tries, I never even saw her second Pokemon. I knew I had to grind. A lot. Ba-da-ba-ba! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba! Ba-da-ba-ba! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba! Ba-da-ba-ba! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba! Ba-da-ba-ba! Finally, after grinding 9 levels and 6 hours of real-life timing, keep in mind I'm turboing through most of these 6 hours, so the amount of time it would have taken for 9 levels in normal speed in this area would have been daunting. Back at the gym, I challenged Gardenia again. I went into battle with an Oranberry as a held item. This time I used an X attack and take out Cherubi in one shot. Turtwig felt just like its cohort of destruction, and beat Roselia with a critical hit. I thought I was going to have to use a revive in order to win this battle when I just needed to get lucky. Kinda anticlimactic to be honest. I'll take it! It did take me 163 attempts and no revives to win. After several trainers, I arrive in Hardhome City. I get a little confused as to why I couldn't fight Fantine, but I eventually figured it out after this guy thankfully showed me what to do to progress the game. I'm sure he later called me an idiot in his head. I horribly lost in a contest and happened to receive a show bell, which was my saving grace for the run. I thought I had to search for leftovers, which is very rare, or farm citrus berries to beat the game. Even after that nice guy guided me to the contest hall, I was still very confused why I couldn't fight the gym leader. So I figured I would just go south of the city to fight the trainers there. When this happened. My rival caught me with this trap. It's a trap! This is where my worst nightmare was manifested. My rival has 4 Pokemon, making it virtually impossible to beat him with struggle. His first Pokemon, Starly, has Endeavor, which makes my massive amount of HP become equal to his lowly health. If I beat Starly and avoid his Endeavor, I would have to fight Ponyta, which deals fire attacks. After Ponyta is the starter, which wouldn't have been a difficult Pokemon to beat if it weren't for his Ponyta consistently spamming Tail Whip, reducing my defenses, which aids to his starter for his physical attacks. After multiple attempts, I was able to see his last Pokemon, Roselia, who uses Leech Seed. This battle would have been doable if I was able to better prepare for it properly. I could have tried using Struggle, or I could have used Revive, but I'm not able to buy Revives at this point of the game, and the only Revive I had was used earlier. I'm not even able to level up since the only Pokemon that I can battle are past my rival west of the city. This is even worse than Gardenia. I inevitably had to use a Super Potion in order to defeat my rival. I was unhappy with breaking the rules of this challenge, so I tried again and was able to defeat him with a potion, but this is ultimately breaking my rules. Due to a surprise attack, I chose to continue on to see whether or not I could beat the rest of the game. Stinking Elihu. Moving onward, I go east of Hearthome City to Solaceon. Solaceon town to Route 215, where I met another obstacle. This trainer owns a Bronzer. Bronzers in this challenge became my adversary. Remember when I mentioned that Confusion and weak Pokemon are obstacles in this run? Bronzers are the embodiment of these two things, and this Bronzer knew exactly how to push my buttons. He would often spam Confuse Ray and Hypnosis, which seemed to never miss, and then hit me with Extrasensory. While it did take me a few attempts, I did defeat both his Pokemon, but I knew this was not the end of this grudge match between me and Bronzer. After what seemed like forever, I finally arrived in Veilstone City. It is here where I give a great sigh of relief. Why? Because now I can go to the Pokemart to buy Revives and X items. This is the first time I have been able to do this. This is the point where things became a lot more manageable in this run because prior to Veilstone, I wasn't able to utilize Revives and X items to increase my chances of winning my matches. I quickly go to the third gym. What? Why is this even here? Is there like a hidden item? Nope. 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 Anyway, onto the gym. While I had some difficulty with the trainers, I was able to beat Marlene in my 8th attempt using only 1 revive. Finally, my first easy gym. After winning, I went straight to Pastoria City to face Crash Awake. The 4th gym was similar to the 3rd. I quickly defeated his trainers and Crasher soon followed suit. I was able to beat Crasher in my 3rd attempt using only 1 revive. After destroying some trainers and my rival for some extra training, I went back to Hearthome City to face Fantine. Ah yes, the virtuous Fantine, who keeps herself so pure and clean, you'd be the cause, I had no doubt, of any trouble hereabout, and we're done with that. The gym trainers prior to Fantine wasn't too bad. However, Fantine was not the same. I initially tried using Struggle to fight her since I was using the strategy for the rest of the game. Her first Pokemon, Drifblim, isn't quite affected by Struggle due to its massive HP, but I did manage to beat it. Her second Pokemon was Miss Magius, who was not having it with my Struggle tactic, so I chose to go back and heal to use my Bide technique instead. This time around, I just decided to give in and use multiple revives for this battle since one will just not do it. By the time I bypassed Drifblim's Aftermath effect, which at times would take me out when I take him out, and Miss Magius's Citrus Berry and Confuse Ray, Kricketot was too tired to fight Gengar. But after about 84 attempts and 3 revives, I actually have no idea if it was 84. I inevitably lost track. Let's just say it was in that ballpark. I finally defeated Fantine. Dang! The 3rd and 4th gyms were a far cry from this gym. Knowing what's in Canalave City, I dashed to it. However, I'm again trapped by my rival. I really need to do more research before I do such a trial. Thereafter, I ran to the man that would alleviate me from this wretched growl, the Mood Deleter. Now to gym number 6. Because this gym contains Pokemon that are pretty powerful, Bide is able to destroy practically everything without too much of a hassle. I'm now at Bryan, and guess what I see? Bronzor. I thought this was going to be another difficult gym, but fortunately I was able to defeat Bronzor in my first attempt. Phew! I defeated his Bastiodon with 1 Bide, and after 3 attempts and 2 revives I was able to beat his Steelix. I was so relieved to have such an easy gym leader. I was trying to beat Bryan with as few revives as possible, but it was at this point that I just wanted to end the challenge as quickly as possible. After Bryan, I sailed to Iron Island where I met up with the Pokemon trainer Riley, whose only Pokemon is Lucario. This trainer will accompany me through the rest of the island until we beat the Galactic Nerds at the end. Prior to this battle, I am able to make use of Riley's assistance and grind in this cave by fighting double battles with wild Pokemon there. This way I can train twice as fast while letting Riley do most of the work. I used this fantastic opportunity to train my Kricketot to level 80, which would only take me about an hour and 10 minutes with Turbo. While I don't want to beat this challenge with a level 100 Kricketot, I do think it is wise to level up my Pokemon to such a level due to the difficulty of the Elite Four. After my grinding session, I soon had no idea what I was supposed to do next. So I used this time to go to all the areas where Surf was necessary. While I was at Valor Lakefront, I just happened to find some Galactic Nerds, which was what I needed to do next to progress the game. Boot! After some difficulty and 2 revives, I defeated Commander Saturn. I then went to Lake Verity to beat up some more Galactic Nerds. There I came across a big obstacle. Remember when I said that double battles are a hassle? Well, there is a mandatory double battle at this location, so I deposited all but one of my Pokemon so that Kricketot can be ganged up by 2 of my enemies. I'm also not able to choose which Pokemon my Kricketot attacks. This is because both Struggle and Bide choose whomever they want. So frustrating. Why does every battle have to be so difficult and tedious? I finally defeated them using my Struggle accompanied with several X attacks. After these nerds, it's Commander Mars again. We meet again. For the last time! It takes me a couple tries, but I quickly beat her. Not like when I first fought her. I looked up where to find HM Strength on the internet and found that I missed it in the Tower of Solaceon Town. And now I can begin my epic towards Snow Point City to progress the game. Dude, I can't wait for this challenge to end. I don't even fight all the trainers in the long trudge. It's time to beat the penultimate gym. I know words. Candace opens with the Snover that has the ability to open the battle with hail. My Kricketot just can't handle weather conditions that take away HP. But nonetheless, I decide to use my Struggle/X attack strat. Her first 3 Pokemon were too difficult once I used my revives. But now it's her boss Pokemon, Abomasnow. Eventually, Abomasnow too fell victim to my epic Kricketot. After 18 attempts and 4 revives. I still count it as a win. I go back to Veilstone City to raid Team Galactic's hideout and beat up Galactic boss Cyrus without too much difficulty. I was surprised that I had to fight Commander Saturn, so I was unprepared. I had to restart and destroy Cyrus again in order to be better equipped to destroy Saturn thereafter. Next is Mount Coronet. Not much here but the usual Galactic Nerds. There was a mandatory double battle that did take me 13 attempts to overcome, but was doable. What comes next, however, is not fun. The next battle is another double battle, though this time it was against 2 Galactic commanders whose first Pokemon were 2 Bronzers, while I had Elihu on my side who appeared to not be of much service to the fight. But after several attempts, I got to Cyrus. I defeated his first 3 Pokemon pretty easily by using 3 revives. Seriously guys, I just wanted the challenge to end. Didn't even care how many revives I had to use to win. After 1 more revive, I defeated his Weavile. With Cyrus eliminated, next was Palkia. Prior to fighting Cyrus, my Pokemon was healed. But after one beats Cyrus, one does not get healed again. At this point, I had 0 Bides left and I had to fight a Palkia. I was tempted to just use my Master Ball, but I was determined to make this run entertaining. I used one of my Ethers and got back my Bides. I really hope using this won't bite me in the butt later. With just 1 Bide, I destroyed Palkia. I declare that Kricketot is a legendary Pokemon. Lastly, it's time to get the 8th gym. I skip all the trainers on the way to Sunny Shore City to save them for later. The gym was, for the most part, easy since electric Pokemon tend to have high special attack. Because this gym was easy, I was half expecting Volkner to be easy too. Not so much. The first Pokemon, Raichu, went down quickly, and its Artillery had some impressive special attack, but with some luck, I beat him just as easily. Dang, Kricketot's ability was so useful in this battle, alleviating statics left and right. The next Pokemon to take down Ambipom was the primary reason why this battle took so long. Volkner's main strategy with him was to increase his stats like special attack with Nasty Plot, and use Baton Pass to transfer those increased stats onto Luxray, one of my favorite Pokemon in Gen 4. In order to defeat Luxray and prevent him from being too strong for my Kricketot, I had to get lucky enough for Volkner to send out Luxray either prior to sending out Ambipom, or send out Ambipom and then use Baton Pass without too many nasty plots. Even without Ambipom's nasty plots, Luxray is still a very powerful Pokemon. Eventually though, I did take it down. Finally, by the time I got to Ambipom, I had no PP left, so I was forced to use my struggle strategy. Because of this, I had to keep restarting until Ambipom would only use stats-changing moves so that I can survive using Struggle. It did take me about 50 attempts and 4 revives to beat him. Not the most difficult gym, but a very tough one nonetheless. The very last route, Victory Road, was next. I made sure I cleaned my badges while I was there. The trainers here were definitely strong, but not so much so that Kricketot couldn't tear them all down. The problem for me in this road was the wild Pokemon. Some of them, like Floatzel, were faster than my level 88 Kricketot. If they attacked me, it'll ruin my day because I was using my struggle tactic to beat a good portion of the victory road to speed up the process. To prevent this from happening, I did put Raditz in the front, who has the ability to run away. This allows me to run from any wild Pokemon no matter the level disparity. Once, however, I did forget to put Raditz in the front, and a Floatzel wouldn't leave me alone and fainted my Kricketot. I almost cried because I was so fatigued from going back and forth to the Pokemon Center, along with running into so many Pokemon. I made sure I saved before I went to the end of the cave, because I figured Elihu would be there to battle me for the last time. I left the cave and still no Elihu. I go to the league and still no Elihu. So I figured there was no final rival battle, and continued on my merry way. Once I got all my bearings and healed, I went over to the man to show my shiny badges when Elihu surprised me once again. I really need to do research before I do a challenge. Beating Staraptor was easy. Rapidash was harder. I swear this Rapidash had 20/20 vision because he almost never missed with Fire Blast. I could have used a revive, but I didn't know what I was up against and how many revives were necessary for Elihu's other Pokemon. His starter goes down. His Heracross was tough, but I got what I needed when he used Night Slash in close combat so that I can survive and unleash my Bide. Finally, Elihu's last Pokemon, Snorlax, who was useless in that double battle earlier and is now giving more trouble now, had rest. With my Bide being almost gone, this made it difficult to beat him. But once he finally stopped using rest and only used attacks, I was able to take him down. Bye, Felicia. This is it. Our hard work for the past week is now coming to its end. We must now defeat the Elite Four with a level 90 Kricketot. My main concern for this portion of the game was my limited amount of PP for Bide. While I do have a couple of PP ups and ethers and elixirs, I was worried I wouldn't have enough to take down 26 very powerful and diverse Pokemon. Aaron's first Pokemon gave me some trouble because one Bug Buzz wasn't enough for Bide to take him down, and most often than not, he wouldn't use Bug Buzz twice in a row. But I was aware of Dustox's strategy prior to the game. I actually did my research this time. I kept using Bide and it took him down once he used enough Bug Buzzes. There's always one Pokemon that gives me trouble. Next is Vespiquen. She has a rock type move and a healing move. Despite these, I was still able to render her to wax. Drapion, Aaron's strongest Pokemon, was Aaron's easiest Pokemon. A couple of tries and he went down. Heracross was strong, but with the correct sequence of moves, he was out here. Last was Beautifly, just like the last two Pokemon. I just needed the right moves and he was down. It took me 64 attempts and 4 revives to beat the first Elite Four member. Does that sound bad? It was. And it only gets worse. I healed up my team and I began my fight with Bertha. Her first Pokemon, Quagsire, knows Dig as his only attacking move, and he knows Sandstorm. This puts me in a quagmire. With my experience with weather conditions, I figured Kricketot wouldn't be able to handle this battle with something slowly taking away its health. I really wish weather conditions and static conditions like Burn counted toward Bide. This meant that whenever Quagsire used Sandstorm, I just restarted. She switches and goes into Sudowoodo. You'll be back. Her Sudowoodo was a pushover. And out next was Golem. He also used Sandstorm a lot, but I took him out pretty easily too. Quagsire was back, and he kept spamming Sandstorm, but after many restarts, I beat him too. Next was Whiscash. This Pokemon was just as difficult as Quagsire. The problem this time wasn't his attacks, as it was my half health from Revive and his large HP. Using one Bide wasn't the way to beat him. I even got enough damage from him to have just 1 health left. It still wasn't enough damage for Bide to beat him, so I changed my strategy and chose to use 2 Bides to take him down. Lastly, Hippowdon. His ability allows him to create the Sandstorm I tried so hard to prevent since the beginning. Due to his tanky stats along with Sandstorm taking some damage, I figured a Revive wouldn't be enough to take him down. I made the decision to use one of my 2 max revives. Doing so allowed me to win. It took me about 269 attempts, 4 revives, and 1 max revive to beat Bertha. and that took me about an hour and a half for this one Elite Four member. Next was Flint's Fire Team. First is Rapid Dash, and I take him down with one bite after he used Bounce on me. Next was Drifloon. This Drifloon used the same strategy as the Ambipom that Volkner had. They would boost their stat and then switch out with Baton Pass. The issue with Drifloon, however, was that his Ominous Wind, his only attacking move, does enough damage to take me out if he attacks twice. If he attacks only once, Bide doesn't do even half its HP. If I have a good amount of HP and take 2 of his Ominous Winds, it still isn't enough to take him out. There's always one Pokemon that gives me a lot of trouble. So I experimented by eating some rare candies. I did win, but I don't know 100% if I won because of the rare candies, or if I was just lucky. After he used Earthquake and Thunder Punch, Infernape was taken down. Lopunny ended in much the same way, and Steelix was easy too. This battle took me about 187 retries and 4 revives. Not as bad as Bertha, but pretty brutal. The last Elite Four member was the easiest. First off, Mr. Mime initially wasted my time using Light Scream. When he finally attacked me twice, he was silenced. Medicham copied Mr. Mime's fate once he attacked me twice, and Giraffe Rake followed the leader. Other than explaining that I spammed Bide until my opponent used the right moves so that I can KO them, there is not much more to tell other than that I eventually lost my mind repeating the same process hundreds of times. With Alakazam, 3 of his 4 attacks take me down after 2 uses, so I had to wait until he used 2 consecutive energy balls along with the loss of my special defense to take him down. Next was... No! Gosh, no! Gosh, please, no! 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 My adversary came back, and yes, he took me the longest to beat. But not because he used Confuse Ray or Hypnosis, but because his attacking moves were too strong for my meager HP. There's always one. After several tries, I did enact my revenge and obliterated my true rival. This member took me 43 attempts with 5 revives. Finally, the champion. The end of my journey is in sight. I can almost taste it. Cynthia's first Pokemon, Spiritomb, wanted to keep using Embargo, which scared me because I wouldn't be able to use any items. But once I kept restarting until he attacked twice, Spiritomb was laid to rest. Her next Pokemon was the only one I was afraid of when I was doing my research. Gastrodon has Stone Edge, which I presumed would one-shot me, but once they used Earthquake and Muddy Water instead, my biggest threat was gone. Milotic was powerful with its Surf and Ice Beam. Once they wasted a turn on Mirror Coat and I barely survived their Surf, I beat them too. Next was Roselia. Man, this brings back bad memories. Luckily, they did not have Leech Seed. Their attacks were pretty strong, but by the time they used Energy Ball twice, they were defeated. Lucario only took 4 tries before they used a Dragon Pulse and an Earthquake, and down they went. The final Pokemon on our journey was Garchomp. I wasn't too worried about this one since stronger Pokemon tended to be the easier ones in the game. I did use a Max Revive so the Kricketot can end the challenge with good HP. He deserved it. It turned out that I kinda needed it since Garchomp was such a beast. With one final Dragon Rush, this pseudo-legendary Pokemon was defeated by a Kricketot 32 levels above it. Champion Cynthia took me 28 attempts using 3 revives and my final Max Revive. In the end, the Elite Four, along with Cynthia, took me about 591 tries, 20 revives, and 2 Max Revives. I finally beat this challenge. Once Kricketot and my faithful team of Revive Martyrs were put into the Hall of Fame, I was relieved. Ultimately, I finished after an in-game time of 163 hours and 57 minutes, with about 38 real-time hours. Now that I've had a spiritual experience after beating this trial, I must tell everyone, do not do this challenge. Thanks everyone for watching this video. Please, if you would, subscribe to this channel. I will soon be starting a Pokemon Diamond Randomizer, so please check that out. I will see you guys whenever I'm done editing my next video. Hopefully it won't take me as long as it did this one. But before I end it, there is one more thing to do. Rename Iztot to Champion. In hindsight, this name wasn't the best. I also renamed Nappa to Ghost Nappa because he died a lot for Kricketot to become Champion of Sinnoh. Kricketot! Kricketot! I'm reviving you.